Coming up on the Frickin' Frack Show, better known as the Nice Guys on Business.
I got no indication that, hey, yes, we're rolling. Yes, we're in process. And yes, by the way, I know this is online, but we're going to physically send you something with a 47-cent fucking stamp in the mail probably a week from now, because it's going to take a week to set up, even though you already have a personal account with us that you've had for like 3 years. So we know that you're legit and we know all the information is good.
I have 2 words for you. Warby Parker.
The Nice Guys on Business podcast needs your support. This show doesn't just happen all by itself. There's a lot that goes into it. I'm sorry, I can't read that. Not without laughing. I mean, seriously, this thing runs itself. It's not like you plan anything. Oh, okay. Back to the script. Please go to patreon.com/nice guys. And for as little as $2 a month, you can help the guys keep the show going. Thanks for listening. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Okay, let's go. It's time to record. An hour into this fucking recording. Let's go.
Nice Guy community, welcome back. We have been here. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. We have been here for like a freaking hour trying to get...
You know what the problem is, Strick? The problem is that we didn't get a 3rd grade video from Mar to explain how to actually run Zencastr.
Okay, and so now... For the first time, we've been doing this for an hour, and now I just heard you like totally breaking up. I missed half the conversation. So
no.
Really
well, you know, the beauty of it is since I'm the one that's actually recording this on my small little pocket recorder, everything has been fine. 3rd grade.
Mar can hear Doug, but can't hear me. And then Mar is upset because it's a 3rd grade video. I loved your video.
I think that Mar, can you hear everybody? Mar is typing. Yes. Okay. Mar can hear everybody.
By the way, if you are at least a $10 Patreon patron,
you missed everything.
Jump in and listen to us while we are actually recording this and the pre-show and all that shit. But can we talk about that, Doug? Do we want to get right into that right now?
No, we don't have to get into that. But let's get into Patreon first of all. Let's explain.
We've got 27 topics once again, yes, that you've sent me.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, are we ready for the list of topics?
Hold on a second. Let's start in the real beginning.
We introduced us, yeah.
And you introduced me too?
That.
Okay, you did. All right, wasn't sure. Okay.
No, just me. Fuck you. I didn't introduce you. No, I introduced both of us, yes.
Okay, great. All right, so let's go. Let's just go.
Okay, here's the list of topics. Are you ready?
Yeah, go.
Deep breath time. Here we go.
Okay.
JV and varsity sports have made face cream and manscaping. What's the point of conditioner? Getting mail and death checks from relatives, movies. And what categories do you like? Doug loves rom-coms, douchebags, and fraternities. As a bad guy, do you get hit on? Do you have a savings plan? Do you have to set up a bank account? Bathroom habits? Are you a flush and spit or lingering lounger? Podcast production turnkey podcast.
Wait.
We're not going to get to all those today.
I was hoping we would get to at least a handful of them.
Okay, a handful is fine. We might get to a handful.
But what I thought was so interesting, Strick, and you dropped a bomb on me in the pregame when this was the pre-recording.
Oh yeah, and that would be the 14th topic we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I had no idea, Strick. I did not realize that you were on drugs.
What? I think most of our listeners have realized that since the beginning, but to each his own.
What the hell? So my understanding now is that what are you taking, Strickland? Just so everybody in our community is aware of the type of drugs that you are on.
Okay, well, I've been on Adderall for about 10 years, like ADD meds.
Okay.
Although for the last month or so, I've stopped, and I'm drinking more coffee and stopped taking the Adderall and trying to get myself off of it.
Wait.
No, I'm like, when I was growing up, there was no ADD. It was just fucking pay attention, right? But yeah, about 10 years ago when my kids were growing up, and one of my daughters is ADD, and it's like I did like the testing. They're like, you do the little test, and they're like, hey, this is just the quickie test to see if maybe possibly you might be ADD. This is not really a definitive. And I get to the end of the test, and it's like, oh yeah, you're in the fucking 99th percentile. You're totally fucking ADD.
Wait, so the test was for your daughter, and you ended up taking the test?
Well, they got online ones that are the quickie one, and they give you the qualifier at the beginning. They're like, look, this is not like a real doctor. Should not be taken as a diagnosis. This is just 20 questions that may somewhat kind of indicate whether you have ADD tendencies or not. And I got to the end of that, and of course, there's like the scale. There's like, hey, if you are 0 to 50, then you're probably not. If you're 50 to 75, then maybe you should talk to a doctor. If you're 75 to 90, there's a pretty good chance. And I was like 98, 99.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I should have figured that one out years ago.
So what is the clue that I've been missing for the last 15 years?
You're just not paying enough attention.
I pay attention to you all the time. We spend so much time together. And before just doing this podcast, we spent a lot of time together too. And yeah, I realized that you were a little fucked up, but aren't we all kind of messed up? I mean, okay, so it's like, so we've known each other for a very long time, for almost closer to 20 years than 15 years. And yes, I have noticed that, but we all have issues of our very own. And I never thought your issue was that you can't pay attention. I did notice that you can't get, you're not really good with directions, but I didn't think that was
that's definitely true.
Does that have anything to do with it?
The biggest things with ADD, and it manifests in different ways for different people, but for me, it's very much if there's something that I am not interested in, it's incredibly hard for me to focus and get it done. I mean, there are things at your job that it's like, hey, I hate this aspect of my job, right? Well, for me, it's like ridiculously difficult for me to actually focus on that and do that. But the flip side of it is when there's something I'm really interested in, it's like I am fucking laser sharp focused on it and can't think of or do anything else. Okay, all of the rock and roll trivia stupid shit I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, but if you ask me
what are on the liner notes in 1972 for a rock band, right, you're like, yeah, that was such and such and such. And I'm like, how the fuck did you even know that?
Right, exactly. And it's because things that I'm interested in, it just, it sticks and I can't get away from it and I can't stop it. I mean, it's like I have to just I dive right into it and I absorb it and I just never let it go. It's stupid shit that I haven't, that I learned 30 years ago about some one-hit wonder band or something. But, when it comes to like stupid shit that like I don't feel like doing, it's
and to a certain degree, you definitely do remind me of Rayman. I mean, it's so like three in a box.
That was Mars comment, by the way.
147. Wait, no, Rayman. There's 150. No, 147. Three in a box.
Friggin' driver. Yeah. Good driver.
I
in the driveway.
I gotta watch Wapner. Gotta get to Wapner. So so Patreon/Nice Guys. The reason I bring that up is because all of this information, all of the things that we are starting to learn and talk about, they're all a part of this. What the fuck is the name of it? Slack. Slack. So this Slack group, it's opened my eyes to a whole bunch of shit that goes on in people's lives that I never really.
Eyes to a new kind of way. Oh, all the good times that you say. I'm sorry, that's Journey.
Wait, I don't.
That was actually the first album that Steve Perry jumped in on, but that song was Ross Valerie singing along with Steve Perry because Ross Valerie was the old lead singer and. I'm sorry, that's a little ADD in me. I'll just stop. Right
okay, so I'm on this Slack group, and I'm like talking to everybody, and I'm starting to find out all the shit about everybody, and I found out that I can't remember if I'm sure the only way that everybody would have found out about this particular podcast is through us, because I think we mentioned it a couple times on the show, but the podcast that was at that point number 42, Guys That We Fucked, I mean, that is literally the name of a podcast. I think Paul and Tim are now fans of that show. So I'm like, what the hell are they listening to? So I actually tuned in this morning before our show just to hear what they were listening to. It is raw and uncut.
It's pretty funny. I like it.
It is funny. It's a funny show. If you haven't tuned into Guys That We Fucked, you might want to just go ahead and do that, Strick, just a couple times. So are you a regular listener to the show, or you just kind of listen to a couple of short excerpts? Are you still gone? You're gone again, aren't you?
Yeah, it was just cutting in and out there. I'm not sure what's going on. That we're having like fucking audio issues.
Gosh,
again.
Everything. This is like total fucked up experience. I'm not even having a good time anymore. I want to just completely stop the show altogether.
I know, this sucks.
I mean permanently now. It's making it not fun.
if you Patreon people could donate more money, we could get a better fucking internet.
What would it be? How would it be a better internet connection? How can you?
No, I don't think that's the problem. I'm double checking mine right now, but I'm wired, so I don't think that's the problem.
Deal breaker.
Ugh. I'm annoyed.
All right, so let's. All right, so let's. When in doubt, I'm just going to blame Strickland. I blame Strickland for everything.
So what were we saying about Adderall? Now we're back. Sorry for the hold music there, technical difficulties, but we're back again.
I love. Where did you find that recording for The Girl from Ipanema?
Oh, I got it off of a video from the Blues Brothers movie from YouTube.
Oh, that's right.
It got flagged on YouTube, even though I took it from another YouTube video.
Hey, what's been going on? I have not been getting the emails saying that our posts are posting up to YouTube anymore. Are we not doing to YouTube anymore?
I think we are. I haven't looked lately. I mean, I haven't changed anything on Libsyn so that it wouldn't be posting.
The site. I don't know.
Looked at the site?
No, I haven't looked at it.
It's going right into your spam.
I haven't. Maybe so. And maybe that's why we have so many downloads, because people are actually not getting them and they're actually going to record them, but they're downloading them like 18 times a person. Could that be possible?
Maybe.
So we actually have 4 listeners. We know 2 of them are for sure Prash and Mar, because they're both with us right now.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. All right.
Okay.
Because we have let's look at numbers.
Okay. Yeah.
We right now, you guys appear to be killing it, because we're getting well over 2,000 downloads every episode.
And
right?
just
like usually between 2,000 to 2,300 downloads every episode.
Right.
Mostly from Overcast still, and that's fine, unless Overcast is like doubling or tripling or quadrupling the numbers, in which case maybe we don't have that many listeners. We have 262 people in our Facebook group. So these are people who have actually reached out and said, hey, I really like the show. I want to follow you guys on Facebook. We have 15 Patreon patrons.
Yeah.
You realize that is less than 1% of the people who are listening. Are we asking too much at $2 a month?
I don't think so.
Do we need to have a $1 a month level? I mean, come on, people.
I don't think that we are asking too much. I mean, I'm not going to get down on the community for it, although I look at it and I say, okay, statistically, what are the numbers? Not for us, but in general, what are the numbers? If you have, let's look at the monthly numbers for a moment. We have 50,000, we're going to have over 50, this is crazy, over 50,000 downloads in the month of March. That is 20% more than we had in February, which was a couple of percentage points more than we had in December, November, October. I mean, look at the last 12 months. It seems like a 20% growth rate every month. So if we look at that and we say, all right, we have 2,500, 2,300 people on average that listen every freaking episode. So you said it's 1%? 1%? What's the...
our Patreon patrons are less than... We have 15 of them, right? So it's less than 1% of the number of downloads that we get.
Well, okay, is that a good number or is that a bad number? Or should we not even look at that as let's look at what is average? Should we just say we should have, based upon having 2,500 listeners every episode, we should have 100 Patreons? I don't know what the number is. I don't know what's realistic.
100 patrons would be 5% of our listeners, which I wouldn't think would be unreasonable.
Okay, well, let's do this. Why don't we run a sale? Let's just try. Let's just try it, let's try a couple of things. So let's run a sale. Let's do a dollar buy-in. Let's see what the dollar buy-in does. If the dollar buy-in doesn't move anything at all, it seems like here's what happens. And let me just give you a couple of examples. If I get on the phone or if I send a direct email to somebody, I'm just going to use this guy as my last example because it actually was a work in progress that turned out to be a good thing. Tom Schwab from Interview Valet. Now, they send us a lot of people to come on our show, and we interview a lot of their folks. So that's great. So I felt I wasn't really being out of line by reaching out to him directly and saying, hey, we would love it. We appreciate your guests. Would you support our show? And Tom said, absolutely. Love it. Be happy to do it. So a week goes by, and I did not see that Tom or Interview Valet had sponsored the show through Patreon. But he said that he was going to. So I don't think it was out of line for me to say, hey, just a reminder, I know you said you were in it and you were doing it, but we haven't seen anything on Patreon yet, and I'm hoping that you can support the show. And he got back to me almost immediately and said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I thought it was already taken care of. And like 5 minutes later, it was done. My thought is, and he became a $10 a month patron. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that we don't have enough direct outreach to our group. I think that if you and me divide the people that we know in our group and we just say, I mean, look at our most loyal Funkin' fans. I'm not going to call anybody out here, but the ones that are most loyal to us, if every one of them is not contributing to the show, then there's a problem there, because that means I don't know exactly what that means, but shouldn't every one of them, the ones that are getting entertainment not only on the show, but getting entertainment on our Facebook community, in our Slack group, shouldn't 100% of those people contribute to our Patreon account? You know,
out of the 15 patrons that we have, we know each one of them personally. Now, it's not like we were friends before the podcast. But
no, we don't.
People who
we don't know. We don't know Greg.
Except Greg Osterdyke.
Right, exactly.
Which we still don't know the right pronunciation of your name. So Greg, apologies if we're not pronouncing your name right. But
that's your fault, Greg, because we've invited you to everything. You need to let us know how to pronounce your name.
Come on the show and talk to us, Greg. We haven't done that yet. So, and then there's only one other one. There's one other one, but she did a donation, but it's not a. Well, no, Karen. We did hear from Karen Bodden at one point, right? She's been a little active. On
Facebook. Yeah. Well, she's very active on the Facebook community. I don't even know for sure if she is a listener to the show. I think that she is, but I know that she is a. I would have to assume that because she's active in our community, but I've never I don't think I've gotten a tweet or anything from her saying, "Hey, heard this particular episode." Now she'll like and share all of the stuff that we have on our Facebook community, but. Karen, thank you for contributing to Patreon. I just didn't realize. I just don't know if she's actually a listener to the show. I think she was.
Yeah, so on the one hand, I don't want to feel greedy, right?
No, I'm with you.
I don't think $100 a month, which is really that's about what we pay to put this thing on every week. Right? Or every month. It's like we got to pay for Libsyn to host. We got to pay for Zencaster. We got to pay for website hosting and other stuff. Gear and shit like that. It's about $100 a month. And man, we can't even get that.
Yeah, but Strick, I think you're even looking at it from too broad brush a stroke picture. I think the way that I'm looking at it is, I'm saying it's $2 a month. It's $2 a month. Right. I'm not asking everybody for $100. I'm saying, hey, kick in $2 a month, kick in $5 a month, kick in $10 a month. If you feel like you get value out of the show, if you're driving in your car right now and you've listened to us for the last 100 episodes or even the last 50 episodes, and you think that this is good and you might continue the ride a little bit, it would be really good. Just help us. It would be really good.
You know what? I'm going to do a test. We're going to do a $1 a month level. And if you sign up for the $1 a month level, we're going to shame you. Okay. Because it's the $1 a month level is going to be like, hey, thanks for the effort. I know $2 a month could be really a burden on you, but we appreciate every little teeny tiny thing you can do for us. Something like that.
So wait, so you're saying that if they get in at the $1 a month level, you're going to shame them? Why the hell? What kind of incentive is that, Strick? It's not really a good incentive.
Okay. It's just amazing to me. Like, do you really think that's the problem? Do you think that our minimum level is too high?
No.
No. Are there people listening right now that are like $2 a month, man? I don't know. Oh, well, if they had a $1 a month level, I'd do it.
No, because I would tell you that a lot of the calls to action that we've thrown out there, people don't necessarily listen to. I don't know.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. I think I'm.
Well, Mars says every dollar counts.
It is
yes.
so. Well, the other thing is this. The other thing that's interesting about it is this. If you, I think Mara is 100% right. It is probably number one. It could be the sign up process. It is a little bit lengthy. Okay. So here's the other thing you can do. If you really wanted to be good, just go ahead and djdoug@gmail.com is how you reach me through PayPal. Feel free. It's a really easy process. Just email me the money. No. I think Patreon is the way to go. The other thing that I thought was interesting, when Steve O'Brien reads the what do you call that? The beginning part of the show where he does the Patreon
openers,
the opener, whatever. When he does the pledge for Patreon, it almost sounds like he feels like he's sad. Have you heard it? It's like for only $2 a month. I mean, I know it was sort of kind of tongue in cheek, but it really kind of catches me as I would like a little bit.
Again, I want to go back to, do you really think that's the problem? In other words, it's like, are people not doing it because it's $2 a month versus $1 a month? I'd find it very hard to believe that as much as we yap about this, that people are at all turned off just because Steve O'Brien is like making fun of it.
No. I'm just thinking there are enough things that are here's what's holding people back. I think what holds people back is this. I think people are they don't like to go through any process. This is just general. This is human nature. Human nature is people don't have to like to go through a process. So if they're like, I got to click on this link, I got to go to a Patreon. If I don't have a Patreon account, I have to sign up. In order to sign up, then I got to contribute. And then I just think that there is it's not like I click a button and can do it. And I don't know how is there what can you do that would be around that process? If anybody that is in our community has any suggestions, we're not married to Patreon. Patreon was just, we know that other communities do it and other podcasts do it. Mars good. Mars says, send the cash directly.
Just send fucking cash. We'll put our address out there.
No, because that involves a stamp and an envelope. There's too much.
Fuck that.
How do you do it?
But Mar and Prosh have a great idea of a video. Like, we should do a video on how to sign up. But you know what? Maybe we should look into other things. Because the other thing with this is, have you looked at the fees they charge?
No, I have no idea.
Right? Like the Patreon fee is 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't think that's unreasonable, right? But then there is a processing fee of 7.8%. We're paying 12%.
Okay.
For now, that's kind of bullshit. I mean, the 5% fee to be able to set it up, and they collect a credit card and they do all that. That's handy. It's nice. I don't. Another 7.5% for processing. That's bullshit.
I think the fact that they're calling it processing isn't really good. They should just call it's their commission. And then it would be a whole, if somebody says it's a 12% commission to be a part of Patreon, and that includes the processing fee and that includes the credit card fee and all that, I'd be okay with that. That's fine. That's fine.
Well, because you can set stuff up with PayPal too, and PayPal can do a regular ongoing, and I think the process is easier and the commission is lower there. So we're definitely going to look into this. We're going to look into a Patreon alternative, perhaps.
If anybody that is in our community has done anything else with their company or their organization or their charity or whatever they're using, and it's easier than Patreon, I don't disagree that Patreon is several steps in order to do it, and maybe it is clunky enough so that people don't want to. There's also the Venmo. Have you ever used Venmo before?
No, never heard of it.
Venmo is a service that it literally, but you have to. It's like everything else. You have to sign up, and without the sign up,
think about it. If you're gonna do something where you're paying every month, you got to get them a credit card somehow. It needs to be secure. I'm going to put something up on the Facebook group to say, I don't know if the sign up process is the problem. In other words, I would. If we put out there, hey, did you try to sign up for Patreon but dropped out because it was too complicated? Right? Like, are people not signing up because they do the thing and they go to it and then it asks for this and that and the other thing and they're like, oh, fuck, this is too much trouble? Because they wouldn't know that the process is difficult unless they've actually done it.
I think we're investing a lot of time in our community, and I think that it's not too much to ask for. Yes, I agree. It is a process to go through. It's a pain in the ass. I mean, it literally, if it's not just a single click, how do you do it? Is there such a thing as a single click process that you can do? I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, so we're gonna put out my address. Come by my house. Just drop a 10 spot on the table every month. we're good. That's all you got to do, right?
That might be a little bit more challenging to do. I mean, it all comes back, and as I was writing out the topics today, one of the things that you had mentioned to me that is you want to talk about was Patreon. And I think that part of it was just how you establish savings programs. And like I did this whole thing with my kid both of my kids for the 529 plan, which is a way to prepay and save for college. That was a fucking nightmare process. I mean, that is application and then more applications, and then it's part of what your distribution of the money and the savings and checking was. That was a nightmare. But it was for a worthwhile cause. It was for my kids going to college, and we're a worthwhile cause. I think we're a worthwhile cause.
All right, we got to figure out a way to make the process easier. You know what? Maybe we'll just set it up on, we can take payment ourselves, right? Like we could take credit card payment. Maybe fuck the middleman, right? Like we'll just do something on our website where it's like, hey, click here, give us your credit card number, and we promise it'll be secure. We promise it'll be secure.
Well, it would be through. Really, it would be through a third party.
Exactly. Yeah, like I'm getting my account, talking about setting accounts up, right? So I'm trying to set up my account for podcast production for you, right? I'm trying to get a banking account set up, and Capital One, I've got a personal account with Capital One, and I'm trying to set a business account up, and they've got a nice business account that has all kinds of stuff that you can tie in and like take credit cards and send invoices and all that kind of stuff. So I go to the website, and it's a pain in the ass, but I get through it, and I have to call them because they take me to the wrong place. And apparently, if you have a physical branch in your area, they guide you to that. They're like, oh yeah, just go into I don't want to fucking go into my physical branch. I want an online account.
Okay, for Capital One. For Capital One.
Right, exactly. So I call them for support, and they're like, oh yeah, here, type in this zip code 90210, and I'm like, okay, why? That's not where I am. Well, you have to type in a zip code where we don't have any branches.
I was going to say, you just typed in 90210. If I remember correctly, that is Beverly Hills, right?
Right. Well, that was so funny. She specifically said, type in a zip code where we don't have branches. I'm like, you got any ideas? You might know that better than me. Right? She's like, type in 90210. And I said, oh, so you have no branches in Beverly Hills. Okay, good to know. Whatever. So
type in 867-5309.
So
Jenny, I got your number. I need to make you mine.
I played that song. I actually sang that song 2 weeks ago at my bar gig.
Nice. Sorry.
So I do that, and so I get the online thing, right? And I fill out all the little forms and all the other crap, and they're like, do you have a personal account with us already? Yes, I do. So it pulls some information from that. And they're like, I get to the end of it, and they're like, okay, we'll be in touch.
Wait, this is your online account?
Right, exactly. So like 3 or 4 days later, I hear nothing, right? So I go to do it again, and I walk through all the process, and at the end it says, sorry, we can't open an account for you. And I'm like, what? And that's all it said. And it had a phone number, so I call the fucking phone number, right?
Right.
And they're like, oh, it looks like you put in an application already. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, so it's in process. We're going to send you something in the mail in 5 to 7 days. I'm like, why didn't you tell me that at the end of the process the first time? I wouldn't have tried again. I got no indication that, hey, yes, we're rolling. Yes, we're in process. And yes, by the way, I know this is online, but we're going to physically send you something with a 47-cent fucking stamp in the mail probably a week from now because it's going to take a week to set up, even though you already have a personal account with us that you've had for like 3 years. So we know that you're legit and we know all the information is good.
I have two words. I have 2 words for you. Warby Parker. Warby Parker. Remember I told you I went into the shop and it was the best handoff between online and store? I mean, between having the optician online, but a salesperson in human being form at a store, and then me not having my credit card and it all being seamless. That's part of the problem with most of the things today. We're like caught in this little era of we don't really know if we're an online store or if we're a brick and mortar store. And part of the issue with that is that nobody communicates. So they're online at it's Capital One, right?
Yep.
So nobody at Capital One online is talking to their stores, and nobody is talking to their processing location. So you have no idea where you are in the process. Now, me as the customer, that's an automatic. That's a way big turnoff for me.
I'm so with you, man. I'm so with you. And in fact, I need to get new glasses. I think I really need
you need to get new ears. I'm not sure you're even listening to me.
No, it's just cutting in and out a little bit again. This fucking bullshit. We're going to, after this episode, we'll restart my computer and see what the hell's going on.
I think that's part of your problem.
I'm trying to listen, but it's like going,
yeah,
I
think it's all you. I think it's definitely on your side. The entire Mojo problem is over there.
Apparently. Well, the mic problem was yours, and now this connection problem is me. Whatever. Fucking, I don't give a shit.
I'm feeling a little disjointed today.
Nobody's fucking donating anyway, so fuck everything, right? Let's just fucking stop. Whatever.
No. So the nice part about it is we're on pace to do well over 50,000 downloads in the month of March. I mean, we are now.
Hey, and guess what? We're well on pace to have 15 fucking Patreon patrons out of those 50,000 goddamn downloads.
All right, so
I really need to stay away.
Here's the issue. Here's the issue. There is a direct correlation between success to me and the growth of the show. Forget the numbers for a second, and forget Patreon for a moment, which is strict. I mean, honestly, we've been on it for 28 days, right? 27, however many. Let's see, today is...
Yeah, I guess we haven't been on it that long, yeah.
28 days. All right, so I'm going to cut myself some slack because I've been building my speaking business and my online consulting business and training business for the last 4 years, okay? Mm-hmm. And if you were to say to me 4 years ago that this is where I would be in 4 years, I would have said, well, there's no fucking way I'm going to do it. However, because I think that, because of the way I look at it, it's like, holy shit, I should have duplicated my entire income already. I should have been out of this, the ability to have to gig on the weekends if I chose to. And I'm not at that spot yet. However, I look at all of the things that I've been able to accomplish in the network that I've been able to build over the last 4 years of doing this. And I'm thinking, man, I can't believe all of the shit that we have done. We've created and built this podcast over the last 2 years. And although dollar-wise, it's not exactly where I think it should be, I think we're making a lot of good inroads to some business opportunities that we're creating as a result of being on the podcast. Yes, it would be great if we had the show pay for itself, but the show doesn't pay for itself. So fuck it. So we're just keep going. Let's just keep moving. And that's just how I think.
Okay, Doug, you're right. You're right. No, sometimes I need the talk, right? Like I need the little pep talk, and usually it's me giving you the pep talk, but sometimes I need it too. So
well, and the other side of it too is that you've just it's taken 2 years to get to the point where you realize that you have now this other skill, and although you have been an audio engineer and do an amazing job with sound for decades, you never translated that into, well, really, how can I use that in this space that we're in right now in this podcast world? And so you created this podcast production for you company, which is fucking a genius thing for you to do. And you've landed a couple of clients as a result of it. You're actually making a couple of dollars from it too. And now we're going to spin this whole thing into the Turnkey Podcast Company, not the Turkey Podcast Company, but the Turnkey
Turkey Podcast.
Yeah. And we're starting to get inquiries for that as well now too. And there's going to be dollars coming in for that. So hell yeah, $15 a month or $50 a month or whatever it is from Patreon. Great. Perfect. At least it's $58 more than we had before. And we are creating this other side business as a result of it too. And I'm not like enthralled and, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's not like we're making like what's the name of that? What's the name of that?
Oh, Chapo Trap House.
Yeah, the Chapo Trap House. I mean, those guys are making $50,000 a month or something, but whatever.
I just listened to their most recent episode, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to do a clip show because it's the end of our first year, and you guys have been great." And I'm thinking to myself, you have $500,000, and you get $50,000 a month in donations, and you've been doing this a year, and it's a once. What the fuck?
Yeah,
and it's just not that funny. I mean, it's okay. They're entertaining, I guess, but they must have had something else going on where they had.
They did. They must have. They're probably like comedy legends, and we just never heard of them.
Yeah, they had a built-in audience. Must have been
right. Something like that. Anyway, so yes, it is a very complicated process, but I want to talk about something that's much more important than all of that stuff.
Because you've only got a few minutes, because we're already 30 minutes into the show. We've hit exactly one topic from the list. So which one would you, let's grab one more. Which one would you like to grab?
Well, we could do the bathroom habits, but I really do think that is probably a really good, worthy topic of spending a lot of time on. Talking about the band for a second.
Bathroom habits are worthy of spending a lot of time on. Okay.
All right. Well, that's fine. Let's talk about for a second. I really wanted to know, since you did bring it up just a few moments ago, that you were doing the band gig and you sang Jenny 8675309. That song today would not work because there's too many area codes. But But as a band guy, had you gotten hit on a lot as a band guy?
Okay, so I played in club bands for about 10 years before I ever started doing the wedding band thing.
Yeah.
And yes, when I was playing in club bands, when I was in my single days, I definitely was got hit on a lot, picked up a lot of women, and for the first probably 10 years that I was in the wedding band, I was single.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, everybody talks about, oh yeah, like bridesmaids, right? Like everybody's drunk. Not once, and I have done over 1,500 weddings and corporate events.
Right.
Not once have I ever been hit on or picked somebody up. I'm sorry, that's wrong. There was one corporate event, okay, years and years ago, one corporate event. This is really embarrassing, actually, because there was a corporate event, and this girl comes up to me and is talking to me, right? And she's really cute. Apparently, we had dated at some point.
Oh.
And I totally didn't remember who she was. And I mean, if we had dated, I don't think it was very serious, because I certainly would have remembered her, right? But so, like, we ended up basically, connecting and went out a couple times after that. But that didn't even count. Like, I already knew her before.
Yeah, that's true. But what's so funny about it is you don't even remember dating her.
I know it's bad. It's really embarrassing. But yeah, I mean, really, in all the weddings I've done, I don't like bar bands. Yeah.
Well, I think the environment as a guitar player, lead guitar player and were you the band leader too?
Yeah.
So everybody wanted a little piece of Strickland.
I guess. Do you get hit on? I mean, you've done thousands of weddings.
No, I really don't. No.
But you're the great DJ Doug.
Whatever. I would say that more often than not, it is painful to to go through the process of getting through some of these parties. It's just ridiculous. I mean, yes, never have gotten hit on. Never have. But then again, I've been married the entire time. But
I guess it's true.
And Mike always says Mike is and you know who Mike is, but just again, sorry, I don't mean to go back to the telling exposition, but nobody's ever heard the word Mike. Mike is a good buddy of mine and has been my DJ, the guy that works with me and helps me with equipment and all that stuff for probably 15 or 17 years or something like that. And he says, she just hit on you, don't you? I'm like, no, she didn't. That was not. And she's 13, so that's not good.
Oh, so you were getting hit on, you just didn't know it. Now, Mars chimed in and said, oh my God, you are Joey.
Who's Joey?
Mar, which Joey are you talking about? Like, you talking like Joey Tribbiani, like Friends, or is this another Joey? I'm losing the reference. Joey Tribbiani, like Friends, like, hey, how you doing? No, how you doing?
No. Yeah, I would like to say part of my ego would like to be, I'd like to be able to say, oh yeah, all the time. I get hit on all the time. But no, I know that there's probably been a number of the wait staff, the guys that are the wait staff. Here are the people that here's who usually hits on me. Overweight women. Overweight women and gay men. That tends to be the thing that I attract.
Okay.
I don't know why that is the case. It's just, I don't know why, but that's just what happens.
And then Doug, when you tell the women that you're not really interested because they're fat, they go, "Yeah, hey, I may be fat, but you're ugly." And
No, we just lost a whole new segment of the population that was listening to the show that no longer. So now we lost all of our gay guys and fat women. They're no longer listening to the show anymore.
Yeah, Mar just chimed in and said he goes through an episode where he's like, did I sleep with her already? He's such a player, I can't even remember his women. Yeah, we just lost the female audience.
No, I think she's referring to you, not me.
No, that's what I'm saying. Joey. When I said Joey, I'm like, what Joey? Do you mean Joey Tribbiani, like Friends, right? And that's what she's saying, that it's like that. But by the way, I've been married for 17 years now. So yes, that is definitely quite far in my past that I was I envisioned myself as a player, but really, I think I've talked about this on other podcasts. I don't remember, it's been so long. Like I certainly don't think of myself as like, oh, I'm this fucking great looking guy because I can pick up any women I want. I just didn't give a shit. I didn't care who said no. And I just, if you rejected me, I didn't care. So the only reason that I was any even tiny piece of like a player is because I just said, fuck it. I got turned down more than anybody I know.
Nice. Well, that was definitely my high school days. I remember asking many. I think I even wrote in my my. You guys all had yearbooks, right? I mean, you had a yearbook, don't you, for your school? Did you ever buy any of them?
Yeah, I think 1 year.
Did you buy your class? Did you buy your class ring?
No, I did not.
I think I bought
my. Did you buy a class ring?
I think I did. It was like I forget what they call it. It wasn't the gold one because that was too expensive. It was like the something light. Do they
even do that anymore?
I don't know.
Mar Prost. What the class rings? Does anybody give a shit about that anymore?
I think they do. I think the class that schools still do it. Anyway, so I wrote.
I was like, no.
I wrote in my yearbook. I can't remember why. Maybe I was reminding myself of how much of a loser I was when I was in high school. But I wrote single-handedly asked out every girl in the junior class, rejected every time. I don't know. I probably was on that same. I was just such a dork. I mean, I'm a total dork now, but. But I was.
Oh no, Mar is saying, tell them how you ask out girls at the Bellagio fountain. That was one of my tips in my my guy's guide to Las Vegas, like how to pick up women. Oh my God, that's a whole nother topic right there.
Oh boy. Oh well, we'll get involved in that in another episode. I feel like we're running long here, or we're just rambling, or we're just moving on. So should we
all of the above? And I really wanted to get to the 12 problems that every entrepreneur has, whether they admit it or not.
Yeah. So can we just put a link to that in the show notes, maybe?
Yeah. That was a great blog you wrote. We'll just put a link to the blog in the show notes.
All right. Well, Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Steve O'Brien, take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Fill up your week with the Nice Guys. 5 episodes a week. Isn't that like some kind of a war crime? Why don't you just waterboard these poor people?
Okay.
All right. Well, that was a total shit show.
That was a total fuck show. Okay. So